Hi guys, welcome to Love, Growth, and Freedom with Adrian Duarte. And today we'll talk about the idea of living freely. Living true to your core, living your identity as freely as possible. Before we do that, I'll define the two words that we're going to use today. There's living, a noun, the pursuit of a lifestyle of the specified type, freely, an adverb without restriction or interference. So I'd want everyone to know that living freely is not as accessible to everyone like they know now. It is sometimes more of a privilege rather than it is something that we have easily. And for me, it was so much of a struggle back in the day being a gay kid, a young gay boy, trying to figure out his way to this world and knowing that me being gay had so much to do of the struggles that I was facing back then because you know what? Not everybody enjoys being gay or not everybody accepts your sexuality back when you were in high school, back when you were in grade school, and you'd hear these banters where being gay is feminine, being gay is weak, being gay is not suited in this society. And that was one of the things that were breaking my spirits back then. And I wasn't able to live myself or live a life for myself. I was always hiding. I was in a constant fear of saying it out loud that I am gay because when I say it, when I concur it and concede to it, things are gonna change. And when I did, it things somehow changed, but mostly for the good. I was able to walk happily, live a life that was true to me, a life that I enjoy, a life that I would cherish and remember all the time. And I've also gained real friends, the truest of friends who have seen me in my darkest days and darkest nights. Dramatic, whatever that is, but living freely has allowed me to be a vulnerable and raw person in the front of a lot of people, and it felt so great just to be able to live my life for my identity, to being true to the core of my being, being able to know what I want and go for it and say it in front of a lot of people. So in this topic tonight, I'll be very passionate about this because this is one of the struggles of the LGBTQIA community. Some of them are not able to come out, not at, during my age, or not at all, or some are luckily enough to be able to come out at a young age and have that developmental growth that they've been needing from the love of their parents and whatever, because we don't know that hiding under that rock or hiding in the closet has been has been different growth, and she has been keeping us away from the love of the people we have around us. And sometimes you can't change who they are. You can't change the people out in the open to accept you, and some people don't have that privilege. And yeah, for some people who can live their life freely, I'd want you to listen to this because being able to live a life of honest truth and being able to share your true self, authentic self to everybody is really beautiful. It's really life changing as well because you, at the end of the day, won't have something to hide to other people. And that's a really good feeling. So, to start off everything is again one of the my favorite quotes or one of the best quotes from Game of Thrones was never forget what you are for surely the world will not make it your strength, then it can never be your weakness. Armor yourself in it and it will never be used to hurt you, by Tyrion Lannister. So again, if you are familiar with who you are, if you are really sure and aware of your being as a person and your truth, your core, your everything, anything that you put out in the table won't be used against you. Or it will be used against you, but it will never hurt you anymore because you know it's out there. You know that it's true. And sometimes you can't change it and sometimes you can. That's what we have to think about the truths that we have right now. Okay, so I'm gonna give you at least a few tips to live your life freely. So First is define yourself. We've been talking about that the past few weeks, being aware of what we are, the things that we like, being loving to ourselves, being able to forgive ourselves for the mistakes that we've made, being able to love ourselves even if everything is flawed, everything about that. But, defining yourself, being able to put yourself in that statue of things of who you are, being able to know who you are is really, really refreshing. So in defining yourself, you have to accept the truths of who you are. Again, you get to define it. Write it down and remember it. Know that you can tell everyone that I'm gay and that's it. And if you're not, you can say I'm bi. It's not necessarily everything. Like, not everybody can define who you are except you. You're the only person who can do that. So that tip of defining yourself is write down all the good and bad because that makes up who you are. So when you write down and try to define yourself your own way, you can define it. You can write your good traits down. You could write your bad traits down and remember what these are. And if you want to change for the better and if you want to grow, look at the bad things and maybe there are things that you can change and there's things that you can minimize and some things that you can't change, but it's also beautiful to have with you because that's what makes of who you are. Remember all the experiences that brought you to this or brought you this far in all aspects, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Not just the things that define you or that, but remember the experiences that brought you to where you are right now. Remember the love of your friends. Remember the heartbreaks that you've been through that made you stronger. I mean, it was hard, probably, but that made you stronger. The relationships that you had with your family, probably strained, and sometimes you can fix now. Or a beautiful relationship with your family that's not strained but has a chance to go deeper. There's so many things, but that's one thing that you have to do is you define yourself, you define your boundaries, and remember that these experiences that you've been through like make up who you are, and it's the beauty of life. It's the beauty of who you are, your core being, your truth, and your everything. And for me, mine is I am gay. I am effeminate, often referred to as loud, sometimes rigid and insecure. I'm someone who follows a routine, who gets upset easily when things go wrong or go south. But I'm also someone who enjoys things. I'm also someone who likes to work hard and party harder, have fun harder because that's how I'm wired. And feeling productive is something that I also enjoy. There's so many things that I know about myself now that I want to keep it that way, and some things I really want to change. For example, my insecurity about people, and I've been learning to think that not everything is connected with what I do. Not everything is about me. Not those are the things that I'm learning right now, and yeah, other than those things, I'm also strong. I'm loving and I'm growing in terms of how I get to handle life. Those are the beautiful truths about myself. I'm gay, I'm effeminate. I'm sorry, but that's how it goes. And I won't change it. I won't choose it any other way because I'm happy at where I am and where I'll go. And yeah, for some of us, it's a struggle to accept these truths. But that's the next step that I have to show you or tell you is that know that accepting the hard truths about your life and experiences is difficult. And you're not the only one that faces your demons. So when accepting these truths, know that you're not the only one struggling with these problems about yourself. Accepting the little things that you're not happy with, accepting the things that you're not sure if it's true about you. And you have to debunk the lies that was fed into your head because again, you get to define your truth. Understand that there are realities you can't change but only learn to accept. Well, there's one reality is that I'm gay. Something I can't change but accept. And it's not something bad anymore, you know. You have to know that it's not the worst thing in the world. And it may sound crazy or it may sound that I don't like being gay. I love it. Honestly. It's just It was harder. It was a hard time for me back then, and it was probably harder for other people, and still harder for other people. So those are, and it was a truth that was a pill, a hard pill that everybody should swallow or could swallow back then, or can't swallow, or won't swallow. Even I did struggle swallowing the truth that I was gay. You know that. I mean, everyone was. I was always so afraid of the repercussions of being one back then because, I was fed the truth, or I was fed a lie that I wasn't going to be enough. I wasn't right in this world. So, yeah, I had the right to be scared. Everybody had the right to be scared. Again, for things and realities you haven't accepted, note them down and evaluate. There are so many things eh. Ang daming pwedeng hindi ka pa handa tanggapin. Or there's so many things that you're not ready to accept about yourself. Write them down. Remember that this may be a reality right now, but maybe at the end of the day, it's not. So you can write it down. Know that some of these truths can be things that it doesn't work out for you anymore, and you were just stressing about it. So sometimes it's no longer relevant to who you are right now and for all the changes that you went through. You can say that you were a kid with anger management, but now you're able to control it. So that was a truth, but now you can set it free. You can let it go because it's not part of what you are right now, your truth right now. And the third is beware. Oh, beware. Oof. Be aware and updated, okay? Remember recent experiences that have unveiled other truths about yourself. Again, it's important to get to know yourself in a whole, raw, and unstripped level. You have to have that time for yourself because how would you know the the shitty thing that you're doing if you're not gonna listen to who you are? You're not gonna take a, breather and focus and check about how things are going with you. It could be these things or these truths could be because of a heartbreak, stress, or demoralization. Sometimes you become a toxic person because you're demoralized. You always want to become the victim. You always want to act like the world is against me, and you're becoming toxic. And that's the truth that you are living as of that moment. And, you know, be aware and updated. And maybe that truth can change if you be able to pinpoint it and fix it up. It could be, or have conversations with yourselves and pinpoint stuff that you have discovered about yourselves. Again, journaling helps. Write them down. Know how you felt. And sometimes it was just an emotion or not really the truth that you're in. There's so many, yeah, again, you get to be confused sometimes. But, when you journal it all out, when you strip it away for the things of what it is, it gets easier to accept. It gets easier to know the truths. And lastly, my tip is to accept the criticisms. Again, the truth that we have right now, it may be good, sometimes also may be bad, and there are things that who we are, or the truth that who we are now, but we're not aware of. And people can see that. People can see that you change for the good in that sense or change for the bad, but it's also relative to everyone. You get to decide which are the bad ones. That's why be open to criticisms because friends and family who gives you criticisms, who tells you the things that you're doing wrong or things that you're doing bad, know who you are, who you were in your past, and who you are right now and how you deal with things. Giving you criticisms is an act of love. Listen to what they have to observe about, especially those people who genuinely care for you and your well-being. Listen to those. Because remember, what they're pointing out is coming from a place of love. It's out of love. It's because probably they've seen you do this before and they don't want you to spiral down. Or probably they've never seen you do this and they think that, oops, you're going the wrong way or you're turning the right turn. You just accept them and listen and evaluate yourself. If, yeah, that's one thing that you're gonna live with it and be accountable for, or that's something that you're gonna just blame other people just because, no, they did this, they made it to me. That's the truth that they gave me. Again, you get to define your truth, who you are, the things that you want to be, the things that you are going to be. Again, accept that there are things that people find off about you, and it doesn't necessarily mean they hate you. they can love you and say, "Oh, I hate when you do this, but I accept it." That's how you accept truth about everybody too. Use this as a ground to improve on and look at these objectively. Don't look at it as an attack on your personality, as an attack on who you are. Because most of the time, these criticisms are just, things that can help build you up more as a person. If hurt, take yourself out of the situation and magnify it when you're already objective. Whenever you accept criticisms, even I get to do that. When people criticize me sometimes, I know that I get emotional and I get so into what the person has said. And what I do now is I try to, like, take a deep breath, move as far away from the situation as possible, and think critically. Let's see, where have I been mistaken, or where I have been. Look at the things where I have actually lacked upon, and say, "Oh, okay, I get it. I got the criticism. Thank you," and I'll try to fix that. And if I don't want to fix it, I'm like, "Oh, that's the way I am right now." But sure, thank you for what you've said. Thank you for what you've noticed. I am my own cup of tea. Again, that's not a that's not a reason for you to be unapologetic for who you are. You just have to be aware of who you are and be able to fend off the lies or fend off the ideas that people are trying to project on you. So the examples that I have with, like, criticisms is that I handle content creation. I do podcasts, I do stories, Instagram posts and contents, and people get to tell me when things are not as pleasing as I think they are. And probably I'd be hurt a little bit, but I'd still take it, I'll take it not lightly, and I'll look at it as an objective manner of trying to bettering my craft. Other stuff is like work stuff. We have to be open about work because people are gonna see, and some people are good at the certain things that you're not. So at work, you have to be open about improving yourself talaga. And with workout forms, again, coaches know better than you sometimes. So, wag na magmurunong. Yung mga ganon. Those are the things that we actually have to be open to criticisms for. Because, yeah, well, it's not all the time tama talaga tayo. Right? In life, focus on attitudes that people see and notice. In life, focus on the attitudes that people see and notice. Maybe, kasi when they show you that, maybe that's what they see eh. Maybe it feels and looks bad for them. But for you, hindi mo kasi alam eh, you're not aware. So that's one. And lastly, we're gonna end on these 5 points. So understand that accepting and living your truth lets you live freely to be whoever you are, but it's not an excuse to be an unapologetic asshole. And it's okay, but it has its limits. Don't exceed human decency. So again, you have your own. You can be unapologetic. For example, certain things about your personality that you can't change, or about your persona, about your truth that you can't change. I'm gay. I'm not gonna apologize for being gay. Of course not. That's who I am. That's my truth, and I'm gonna stay this way. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I wish I wasn't, because this was what's given to me, and I am happy about it, always. Remember that these truths you have before may not be true now, and likewise, the truths you have now, you continually grow and learn if you let it. So, ayun nga, remember that these truths right now can be true tungkol sa'yo ngayon. It can be true about you now. But maybe in the future, it's not anymore. And maybe it's a good thing, and maybe it's a bad thing. You just have to be aware. You just have to pick up the pieces of these things and know, you get to make your own mixing pot of who you are. As painful as these truths get, always remember that it's what makes us human. The truth that we have, the feelings, the emotions, everything that comes along with it is what makes us human. We have, like, there's this, my Twitter bio, I'll get my phone. My Twitter bio actually is one of my favorite quotes in life, and that I still live by it. And I still remember seeing this, how I felt good about myself, even I wasn't perfect, was I myself am made of flaws, stitched together with good intentions. Augustine Burroughs. So that quote actually makes me feel really good because, it is true. What I'm doing right now, growing and changing and living my truth, is really done with good intentions. I'm not here to hurt anybody, but I'm here to grow. I'm here to figure out my life. And I wish you are too. I know we all are. Again, the people who truly care and love you will accept you for who you are. So don't be afraid to live your truth. Don't be afraid to accept and allow yourselves to embody your truths, your identity of who you are. Live free of pretensions and work your way to see everybody with an open mind. So even if you're struggling with this, struggling with the truth, you also have to be open to other people's truths. Maybe that's how they are. You have to keep an open mind. You have to see that everybody's going on a journey of self-discovery. Everybody's going on a journey of figuring themselves out of who they are, what they are, and who they're going to be. So that concludes my podcast tonight. Thank you for listening to me, and I am so grateful that you're here finishing this topic. I hope you get to enjoy and listen for the next few topics I'm excited to share. And yeah, have an amazing life. Love, growth, and freedom with Adrian Duarte is signing out. Bye!